As promised, it's your boy Carcino here, and I told y'all I was going to finish the story, and here it is. I got time, so here we go. Luke is upset because of Lil Wayne's comments, which came back to Miami wrong. You know, he's talking about the heat, and they think he's talking about the city. But anyway, they didn't care. They just looking for a reason to stir up some controversy to keep their name out there. You know, to have their name in lights with Lil Wayne, because Lil Wayne is a popping artist at the time. So they want to call some shots, basically. But Pitbull had already jumped off the wagon, because not just really Luke, Pitbull was upset because he heard about it and was like, oh, how he dissing my city? So he went and recorded a diss song. The only person to do so in the whole controversy is Pitbull. Released that Harlem Shake remix, that Welcome to Dade County and Don't Ask Where You Eat and all that stuff. And Trick Daddy's on the radio going on talking about Lil Wayne and how they coming in, and Luke is like blaming everybody else. And matter of fact, he wrote the editorial in the Miami New Times talking about it's time he talking about the city got to stand up. He was like, Lil Wayne treat Miami like it's his beat because people left. So he wanted Cali, Rick Ross, and everybody else to stop showing Wayne love until they learn how to show some respect. So Lil Wayne called into Miami, it's that 99 Jam, and Khaled was like, listen to Wayne, and it's like, oh, okay, well, Nori was out there at the same time, and they was like, well, okay, he kind of showed us some love here. He said he loved Miami. This was about the situation with the Heat organization. It had nothing to do with the city of Miami. And he loved Miami. And when his comments got back to Miami, it just turned into something else, and people just thought he going off on the city. It had nothing to do with that. It was with the sports team, nothing else. But they wasn't buying it, and Luke was putting Khaled in there in the same boat, like, oh, you better choose to side with Wayne on this. When all of it, this was all about what Luke wanted to get done more than what anybody else wanted to get done. He was trying to get some attention to his charity foundations and have his name attached to it. And, for those who don't know, Luke Campbell was the first gangster ever to be in hip hop. I know y'all think he like Busy Bee with all the pop, get it, the thing. Come on, girl, let me rock your world. He ain't that guy, and neither were the people around him. They were Miami at its finest. They didn't play no games. So, all I can tell you there is Luke Campbell was a real human being when it came to laying down something like that had to be done. I mean, he represented a group that stood up to the U.S. Supreme Court about their freedom of speech so that rappers can come out here and say what they say. And when Khaled stood up for Lil Wayne, he became the enemy too. Because he's like, wait a minute, you ain't really from here either. So it got to the point where Luke was being ignored. So while he was being ignored, he was like, alright, they think this is a joke, that there's going to be no repercussions for this. So what he decided to do was step it up and basically put out a threat and saying, these guys come to Miami but don't get nothing back to the city. you got to get something back to the Magic City. Now, I thought the Magic City was Orlando, so I'm way out of the loop on that, man, with Florida. Cause I'm like, wait a minute, I thought Magic City was Orlando. I didn't know Miami's the Magic City. I'm confused. But anyway, he had a message for Wayne, Cash Money, Khaled, even threw Diddy in there. Any rappers from any part of the country who now live in Miami, I'm tired of seeing these guys use up our beaches, soaking up our sunshine, taking over the nightclubs, and sleeping with our women without investing anything in the community. I want to know when Lil Wayne is going to do more than just show up courtside at the American Airlines Arena. It's not like he paying for them. You know they cop. This is freeloading, mooching off my city, and it's got to stop. There used to be a day when out-of-town rappers would be scared to throw their weight around in Miami. It didn't matter if they were coming from New York or LA. They knew better than to act like they own this mother. Artists knew better than to come to Miami and disrespect us. But now, folks in Miami entertainment industry have gone soft, turned into a bunch of groupies just because they like to say they drank with Weezy, Rose, and the Cash Money crew. So, I don't know what else to tell you. He was nice and hot, and he put out a threat that this was not going to stand no more. They was going to bar them from nightclubs, do not put them in there. And when Luke Campbell says something like this, you know he going to make sure it's enforced. Luke and Trick Daddy been together for a long time. Luke was the boss. Trick was one of the minions and one of the proud minions to put in that work. So him and Trick being on the same side, it didn't shock me to see this go down. So a conversation was made, reached out to Luke. They had a conversation and everything else. And at this conversation, Luke was basically saying, look, Wayne, Khaled, yeah, they from New Orleans, don't mean they don't have to be part of the community here, is what he was saying. They're getting rich under the sun and sun, you know. And they rapping a song about the Live and the King of Diamonds nightclubs where they partied up with like Dirk Nowitzki and all that stuff when they won the championship. But he was like, man, they just beat Miami. And what kind of sellout move is that? Either you repping Miami or you not. And then Khaled and all that stuff, they coming out here kicking it on our dial. So it's not even making sense. But he was like, man, look, they got to start, they got a deadline. And he gave them to like the first of the year. At that time, if he didn't see them giving back, he was going to pull their Miami cards. Have it revoked. They won't be getting in no nightclubs. They won't be going getting the women. Lil Wayne going to have to find some floor seats in New Orleans somewhere because he ain't going to be allowed in the AAA. And he was going to start pulling some cards. Now, when you have a situation that is out of control like this, when the conversations were made, and he felt the way he did, they came up with a way to do something for the communities and come out with just some charity and help out Luke's organization. Luke had a charity foundation when Birdman was supposed to show up at. He went to the after party instead, but he donated the money, so he thought like wasn't no problem. He get there, Luke had a problem with him because he's like, man, these people want to see you. They ain't just want to get a check. So there was a lot of drama going on with that, and it's still going on today because the moral of the story is these guys are not getting the respect in Miami they used to from these guys, and And that should never change with them. Because some of these guys were hanger-ons. They're not really the main guys that was even there. That they were attached to the Lukes and the Trick Daddies. And these guys are being disrespected now in Miami when they were being treated like big shots because those guys was popping. Now those guys ain't really popping like that no more, Trick and the rest of them. So if you ain't looking out for Trick and you ain't looking out for the rest of them, they consider that you don't get a pass here. Because you ain't reaching out to the ones that really run the city. Rap and hip hop is the only people that do this crap. This does not happen with R&B. This does not happen in rock. This doesn't happen any other rap. I mean, like any other genre of music. Hip hop is the only one. Like you feel like you owe them something. Like you owe us. It's like, huh? I owe you? Did you say that when you came and toured with the 2 Live Crew? When you came to Chicago, did you owe Chicago? Did you owe New Orleans? Did you owe Tennessee? Did you owe any place you went in that tour? What did you give back to them? But you giving back something to your community because you are from Miami. And you got a charity foundation, which is fine. But to demand somebody else have to give something to your city because they hang out there and they owe there, they are doing something. Because if they there, you guaranteeingly they're going to spend some money there. So the people that's there and working those jobs are getting paid. They're spending money in your city. Believe me, the city of New Orleans would rather them spend that money in New Orleans. Believe me, everything ain't cop. They just want to get you inside so that you can start spending some money. The hotels don't cop rooms because the money ain't in the rooms. The money is what you finna spend outside of the rooms, and they want you to be inside their facility spending it. That's how the entertainment business works. Everything ain't comp. Free is the setup. So right now, they supposedly cool. Supposedly. But it's like an understanding. But it is what it is. So that's where we at right now. I mean, Pitbull is done with it. He's out of the diss record business. He's going back to doing what he do. And Luke is still penning columns and probably going to write another book. I'm out.